Hello, welcome to the inside of a Ford Ecosport, or is it Ecosport? I've never known. I say Ecosport, so let's just go with that. And we have had the privilege of living with this car for the last 4 months. It's been a nice long-termer. It's kind of become part of the family, and we are now going to do a long-term wrap-up of this car. But before we get started, head over to Cars.co.za, either from our new app or on the website, and you'll find over 1,200 Ecosports to choose from, starting at just over 100,000 Rand. So put through a lead and the dealer concerned will be in touch and help you get into your car. Alrighty, here we go. A review of the Ford Ecosport.
Dream, search, drive. Cars.co.za.
Get insurance that pays out faster than the word Archie. Budget, the official insurer of good South Africans.
So what is it? Well, it's a compact SUV which competes in a highly competitive segment. If I sit here and try and think of all of the cars in the segment, I mean, there's now the Chery Tiggo 4. You could say the Jolion is in the segment because of its price. You've got Vitara Brezza. The list just goes on forever, really. So it's a tough segment. You have to be good in the segment to make sales. And this little car has been on sale in South Africa for 10 years now. I actually have quite an interesting connection to this car. The first international launch I ever went on was to India, and it was to drive the Ecosport. And now we're getting to a point where the Ecosport has stopped production internationally, and essentially when Ford SA runs out of stock, that's going to be the end of the Ecosport in South Africa. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, and I'll tell you why. But before I tell you why, a quick bit of detail on this car. So under the bonnet, a 3-cylinder, 1-litre turbocharged petrol engine, 92 kilowatts, 117 newton meters, which is quite healthy power. The power goes to the front wheels. You can get a manual in the Ambiente spec, which is the entry-level spec. We have an auto, which I prefer. It's a very nice auto. And you can still get a diesel, a 1.5 turbo diesel, which is also a good little power plant. Now, when 3-cylinder 1-litre engines first hit the market, I think Ford might have been the first actually with this engine configuration. There was a lot of skepticism. The engine's too small, how long is it going to last? Well, I've sort of become an agony aunt of motoring. People come to me with their problems a lot. And I did 6 years of talk radio where we did Q&As, and I can't think of a single time that someone called in or messaged or emailed and said, I'm having problems with my Ford Ecosport. In fact, I can't remember anyone ever telling me that they've had problems with their Ford Ecosport. So I think this engine has proved itself. And that's a good thing, because if you're looking to get a second-hand Ecosport, you want reliability. You want to know that that engine is going to last for another 100,000 Ks. And in my opinion, I think it will. Now, the Ecosport, I suppose, is principally intended to be a runabout, and it does that very, very well. It is a little thirstier than the competition, especially cars like, say, the Vitara Brezza, which just sips fuel. So we've been averaging 8.6 liters to the 100, which is a bit above the 6.5 that Ford says it will do, but I'm actually okay with that consumption. And it does get a little bit better on the open road. And I was massively surprised as to how good this car is on the open road. So I went for my yearly pilgrimage to the Simola Hill climb, probably my favorite time of the year, and we took the Ecosport fully loaded with our luggage, and my girlfriend doesn't pack light, and all the film gear. And I just thought it was remarkable how this car performed on the open road. When you get to an incline or a hill, the box just kicks down, lower gear, and off you go. And it felt really, really planted as well. I was surprised to find that the Ecosport is not only a good runaround, but it's a good open road car too. So if you regularly do road trips, or you need to go on holiday to some far-flung destination across South Africa, I think you'll find that this car can do that just as well as it can do the school run. Welcome to the interior of the Ford Ecosport Active. Now, in terms of the Ford Ecosport range, this is just below the titanium, but still, it is really well spec'd. So you've got cruise control in here, electric windows all round, electric mirrors, touchscreen infotainment with Apple Auto, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. You've got aircon, but it's not automatic. You two USB ports down there and a 12-volt socket. I like what they've done with the center bin here. 2 drinks holders for the front passengers, 1 for the rear passengers, and lots of little bits of storage space which work really well. Very, very functional. And I know that some people have a problem with the touchscreen sort of sticking out of the dashboard, but I actually think the design is quite clever because it is exactly at the same height as your dials. So if you're looking from one screen to the other or from the dials to your screen, it's the same eye line and you don't have to sort of hunt for the screen in your field of vision. So yeah, it's a love or hate thing. Some people think it doesn't look good. I actually think it works pretty well. You've got rear park distance control, and then not only is it pretty well spec'd when it comes to your interior features, but when it comes to safety, this is one of the highest spec'd in terms of safety cars in the segment. And luckily, Ford have provided me with this sheet because I can't remember all the things that it has. So 7 airbags, which is tied with the Mahindra XUV 300 for the most airbags in the segment, but a technology which only the EcoSport has, as far as I'm aware, in the segment is collision mitigation systems. You then also have ABS, electronic stability control, electronic brake assist, roll stability control, and a hill launch assistance system so that you don't roll back when you're pulling off on a hill. So good interior spec, good quality of interior as well, high quality materials. I really like the leather on the steering wheel, but of course when it comes to important safety features, they haven't skimped at all. Now, something I do like about the EcoSport is that even though it's a compact car, you do get that feeling of SUV ride height, that sort of commanding view of the road that you get from just about any other SUV. But if you're still not high enough over the road, as a standard feature, you get this height adjustable front seat. Wow, when does it end? Wow, look how high you can get. The back seats are pretty comfy, actually. Not a huge amount of knee room. That's my driving position. I wouldn't say that's the best in segment, but I'm comfortable back here. This is pretty well padded. There's no USB ports though, which I feel like is a little bit of an oversight in this day and age. It feels like something that's pretty cheap to add and that could add a bit of value and a bit of convenience for your rear seat passengers. But you do have a drinks holder in the door, 1 drinks holder over here. Importantly, adjustable headrest, which is important in a rear collision, and a proper 3-point belt for the middle passenger. Oh, and ISOFIX child seat mounts. The boot, very important, and I'm happy to report that on the EcoSport, the boot is actually a very usable size, and a lot of it is down to the height. Look how much space you have, how much vertical space you have, and it's quite deep. So that's a decent sized suitcase, and there is our standard cooler box, which I can't lift into the car because I've absolutely stuffed my back. Now, by putting the spare wheel on the back of the car, I think it looks pretty cool, and it also creates this extra boot height. For me though, the one massive downside is this door. I just do not see a benefit to having a door that opens like this instead of like this. For me, a door of this nature is just inconvenient. If someone parks close behind you, you can't open it all the way. If you reverse into the garage, you need to leave this much space behind the car so that you can get the door open. I just don't see the benefit of this. So this active model is one of the last variants of the EcoSport that we will see, and it is a bit pricier than your standard EcoSport. I mean, you can get into one for about 300 grand, This is $393, but they have added a lot to the exterior to make it look a lot better, and I think that's been very successful. The cabin is well spec'd, and in terms of safety, it's very, very highly spec'd. So yes, for instance, you could get a top-of-the-range Suzuki Vitara Brezza for 337,000 Rand, which is 60,000 Rand less than this. But I mean, if you just look at the airbag count, 2 airbags in the Vitara Brezza, 7 in here. So it just shows you that this is a more feature-rich car than most of its rivals. So at 393,000 for this EcoSport, what are you getting for your money? What kind of backup are you getting? Well, Ford is, to my knowledge, the only manufacturer that has unbundled its service plans from its purchase price. So if you do want a service plan with the car, which I pretty much would recommend going for because you can just add it on your financing, it's 11,700 Rand, and that will get you a 4-year, 60,000 kilometer service plan. As standard though, you do get a 4-year, 120,000 kilometer warranty, and you get 3 years of roadside assistance. So, should you buy a new Ford Ecosport or a used Ford Ecosport, or neither of those, and go and buy something else? Well, I think that, look, South Africans are under pressure. It's tough times at the moment. And for me, at this price point, if you're looking for a more luxurious experience or a more premium experience in this segment of the market, then I think the Ford is that option. It is, for me, a higher quality of car or higher quality of experience compared to something like a Suzuki. But of course, the Suzuki is going to save you 60 grand, and that's quite important. But right now, I would say this is not the best car in the segment, but it's far from the worst car in the segment. And if I were you, I would shortlist it and go for a test drive and just see if you like it, see if it suits what you're looking for. However, all that being said, and the fact that this is going to go off the market relatively soon, I think this makes a great second-hand buy. I would definitely consider a second-hand EcoSport if I was in the market for a car like this. And as I mentioned earlier, you'll find over 1,200 on our site, and now with our new improved search on our app, you can drill right down into all the specific variants. So if you're just looking for a diesel, you can click diesel, and we've got over 200 of those for you to choose from. So yeah, this would be on my list, whether it was used or new. I've really come to like this car, and I think that in some ways, 10 years on sale, yeah, it's a 10-year-old car, there's no getting away from that, but it's had 10 years to prove itself, and I think it's really done so.
Cars.co.za.
Not only is Cars.co.za the best place to find your dream car, but it's also the easiest place to sell your current car. Check out the sell car section on our main website. Simply list your car's details and all of our dealers will take bids on your car. You just choose the highest price. Boom, your car's gone. On to your next one. Right, thanks very much for watching the video. Okay, I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm finished now.
Who am I? Whoever you are, with budget you could save $420 per month.